Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we have one of my most anticipated albums of the year, that being Hideous Aftermath by Sanguisugabogg. Now, I'm going to start off by saying I am a huge Sanguisugabogg dick writer. I love Sanguisugabogg. I think their first two albums are fantastic. I do think they drop off in the later halves of the albums, but other than that, I really love them. I think the first say like 4 to 5 tracks on each album I love. The last couple, whatever. It's a dice up. It's a dice up. It's a toss up. But other than that, great albums. I love them. I'd say Tortured Whole is like an 8, and the other one's like a 7. So like not super high ratings, but they're fun to listen to, and I throw them on whenever I just want something heavy and stupid sounding to listen to. Hideous Aftermath kind of let me down. I'm not gonna lie. I expected more innovation on this album. I don't know if that was the right idea, but I felt like after such a massive blow up and having waited a couple of years to release this one, I really expected it to be more bombastic in a lot of ways, especially on like the breakdown front, just because they've been playing so many, huge hardcore shows, hardcore festivals. I figured they might have picked up on more of that, but instead this album gets way more brutal death metal-y, which is kind of interesting because it means it's a lot more technical playing and the songs have gotten longer. Now, my biggest complaint about this album is that the first 3 tracks are all 5 minutes long. I do not think Sanguisugabogg excels in the 5-minute song range. Doesn't mean they're bad, but I think they're my 3 least favorite songs on the album, purely because by the time you get to like the 3-minute mark, you've already heard pretty much everything that's going to happen, and the next 2 minutes is just that but repeated, and then the breakdown at the end. And I wish there was a bit more variety going on in those songs. That said, the drum work on this album I think is my favorite of theirs thus far. Repulsive Demise is, I think, one of my favorite tracks on the album, purely for how different the drums sound. It has a much more echoey sound, kind of like you're trapped in this big concrete building and it's just the drum set playing, and I really like that vibe, especially in combination with the guitar tone, which is always great, especially because Sanguisugabogg plays in such low tuning. I think this one's still in G, but correct me if I'm wrong. What else? Abhorrent Contraception is, I think, one of my other favorites. But that one also comes in at like 4:30, but I think it's got more variety going on. The breakdowns are a bit better, so I just kind of prefer it style-wise. Semi-Automatic Facial Reconstruction, another great one. It's, again, a lot more harsh. It's a lot, just heavier in general. I think my biggest thing is just when they get to those like blast beat sections, they don't have as much variety as I'd hoped, especially just on this album in general. And I think that like, oh, I think I've already heard this riff play idea really detracts from the album for me, on a personal level. It's not that it makes it a terrible album, but it does just lack something that I was really hoping for, which was, again, a lot heavier sounds, and even maybe incorporating that more into the blast beat sections. Even though I think it still works really well, it's very on brand for the band. I think it could have done a little bit more. I think this album doesn't include itself in slam as much as I was hoping. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's a worse album. I'd give this one like a 6. Again, I have no problems with it. I also really like all the features. Cattle Decapitation, Full of Hell, one of my other favorite bands. Peeling Flesh, Despised Icon. Good features, especially because you can't really hear some of them. Like, at some points you're like, is this the feature? And I don't know, it's fun when you're listening to something and both guys sound just similar enough that you have to actually check where the feature is. That's always fun. But other than that, I think those are all my thoughts on it. I really like the 5th through 9th track. Those are my 4 favorites. Last song is good. It's my Full of Hell homies, but I don't know, it didn't stand out as much to me personally. And again, the first like 4 tracks, just a little too long for my liking. I feel like they could have cut, again, like a good minute and a half, 2 minutes out of each track, and it probably would have just made them nicer listens, more cohesive. But once you give it that much room to just sit and settle, you get a little bored. And I think that's just a big detractor from listening to Slam. You don't want to be bored listening to a Slam album. But other than that, like I said, like a 6, not bad. I'm gonna go see them next Wednesday, so you know that'll be fun. And yeah.